So the time has come. Niantic has finally blessed us with player versus player battles on Pokemon Go, and in this video I'm going to be kind of talking about how these work, showcasing some battles, and telling you about some features. I'm actually pretty excited about this. I am a pretty avid Pokemon Go player, so this is something I've been waiting for a long time, and let's go ahead and talk about it. Alright, so to start off here, there are three different modes when selecting a player battle. So there is the Great League, Ultra League, and Master League. Great League, you can only have Pokemon up to 1500 CP, Ultra League is 2500 CP, and Master League has no limit. So I think this is actually a pretty cool feature. It gives you access to playing with some Pokemon that you wouldn't normally play with. It creates kind of more of an incentive to get lower CP Pokemon that are also still pretty cool that you like. For an example would be like Zangoose is a pretty strong Pokemon that wouldn't do well in Master League, but like in Great League you can actually do pretty well with that thing. So I think this sets up for a lot of opportunities to use some Pokemon that really didn't perform well in raids or gym battles, but can work pretty well in their respective leagues in the player vs player battles. The next thing I want to talk about is you actually have access to battle all of the team leaders. So if you go over to the Pokemon menu and then scroll over to battle, it gives you access to all three of them, which you can challenge them in any of the leagues. And this is actually pretty interesting. This is a good way to kind of get familiar with how the battles work. So here you can see that I'm showcasing a Master League battle against Blanche. You can use any Pokemon you like. I think that it varies on the Pokemon that they use. But one interesting thing about this is that you can actually battle them as many times you want. So it doesn't cost any Stardust, it doesn't cost anything to get into a battle with them, which is, I think, pretty cool. And you actually have access to 1 Stardust reward per day. So if you battle them every day, you will get, I believe it's like 500 Stardust for now. I think they'll probably change up the kind of rewards there, but it is pretty sweet that you do have access to battling all the trainers there rather than just the team leader that you're on. One other pretty important thing to note here is that I have actually seen reports of people receiving evolution items from rewards from battles. So I have seen people getting Sinnoh Stones. I think they might end up switching up the kind of rewards because it does seem pretty random. I haven't actually been able to receive any of those rewards myself quite yet, but I have seen screenshots of people receiving Sinnoh Stones. So that seems like a pretty damn good way to get those. Those are pretty hard to get at this point, so hopefully those end up sticking around for a while because we could all use some more Sinnoh Stones. So here you'll see as I finish up the battle, I do get a reward of 500 Stardust, so that is not too shabby. Alright, so the next thing I'm going to talk about here is pretty much everything I know about how the battles work. So essentially, you can battle with anybody you want as long as you are playing locally with them. So if you're at a park and you see somebody playing Pokemon Go, you can actually battle them right from the start. Although, unfortunately, the only way that you can battle against somebody who is not right next to you is if you are Ultra Friends. So, the only way to do that is if you send gifts for long enough to the point where you obtain the Ultimate Friendship tier. So, as long as you're Ultra Friends, you can battle anytime you want, as many times as you want a day. And that actually makes it kind of cool. It gives you an incentive to become Ultra Friends with more people. Kind of gives more of an incentive for people to send gifts. And that is the only way to play against people pretty much online. So, now we're gonna hop into some of how the mechanics work for this. So, as you'll see there, I use a shield, and you're only actually granted 2 shields per match, so you do have to use these pretty wisely. It actually makes it pretty cool. There is some mind games involved. Knowing you only have 2 shields, you do want to only block attacks that you know you're going to take a lot of damage from. So that makes it pretty interesting. You do have 3 Pokemon per battle, obviously. And you are also actually only limited to 1 switch per match. So that makes it kind of nice. Now there's not going to be a whole lot of switching just to get a good matchup. So you do want to use that wisely and get your matchup on a Pokemon that you know your rest of your team is going to struggle with. So as you'll see here, Electabuzz actually is doing pretty well against a couple water types. As you'll see there, there is charge attacks, and this works a lot like it does in regular gym battles and raids. Some charge attacks get charged up a lot quicker than others. As you'll see, Thunderbolt actually comes back relatively quickly, which is actually super nice. So I block this Bubble Beam, and then I'm able to just fire off a Thunderbolt of my own. So it kind of varies on how quickly certain charge attacks work depending on power. But it is definitely worth trying to get those babies charged up as soon as possible. But once they run out of their shields, they're very vulnerable to charge attacks, so you do want to take advantage of that. So while we're on the topic of charge attacks, there's actually a pretty cool new mechanic that has been added with this update, and it is going to make battles a little bit more interesting, is the fact that they have added access to having 2 charge attacks on a Pokemon. So I will actually outline how much Stardust and how much candy it takes over there on that left bar per different tier of Pokemon. But essentially how this works is you spend a set amount of Stardust and candy to have access to a new charge attack, which is actually going to throw a new twist into battles. You can pick and choose kind of which charge attack you would like to use. They are pretty damn expensive, so I believe it is worth it. One thing to note is that they actually do stay there when you do trade the Pokemon, so it definitely makes the Pokemon more valuable for a trade if it comes with 2 charge attacks. So the way it works is a Pokemon that you set as your buddy that takes 1 kilometer to earn a candy requires 100,000 Stardust and 25 candy to unlock a new charge move. A Pokemon that requires 3 km takes 50,000 Stardust and 50 candy. 5 kilometer is 75,000 Stardust and 75 candy. And a 20 km buddy takes 100,000 Stardust and 100 candy. So that's also legendary Pokemon, like Mewtwo would require a whole bunch, but it could make your Mewtwo absolutely destroy in battle. So as you'll see here, to find your new charge attack, all you gotta do is select a Pokemon, and down there at the bottom there is new attack, so it shows you how much it takes. Unfortunately, I don't have enough Stardust because it's real hard to come by Stardust these days, and it would be nice to have a bunch, but I'm gonna be saving it up, you best believe. A lot of people are actually pretty bummed out that it requires so much Stardust to get a new charge attack, but I think it's actually kind of cool. It does make it a little bit more of a rare thing to have a Pokemon with a double charge attack. I mean, if it was cheap, everybody would just be able to have double charge attacks, and I think it does give you more of an incentive to kind of save, and it makes them that much more valuable when you do get a Pokemon with double charge attacks. So, yeah. And with that, that is pretty much going to be everything I know about PvP battles at this time. I just wanted to make this video to kind of showcase how this works. I think it's pretty damn cool. One thing I do want to note here is that obviously this is a pretty simple mechanic. It's not going to be anything too crazy. I think a lot of people have just such high expectations for this game that you kind of got to step back and realize that this is a mobile game. And it really is just going to be pretty simplistic, and it's honestly just cool to see how this game has grown since this was released. Seeing just the difference of how much has changed is honestly pretty cool for me to see, and I'm pretty happy to have PvP battles because now I can smack my friends around, and that's pretty damn fun. So guys, I am going to leave you with this masterclass battle, and that is going to be the end of the video. So if you enjoyed or learned a little something, go ahead and hit that like button on this video. Also, go ahead and leave a comment if you found any cool Pokemon that have worked really well in the low tiers, something that obviously wouldn't be much of a gym contender, but can actually dominate, you know, the Great League. So that would be kind of interesting for me to find out. Show some love to my low tier boys.